Every relationship that you have in your life is give and take. The key to a successful relationship, whether business or personal, is balance. Both parties being equal in the give and take ratio. That is what it would be like in an ideal relationship, in an ideal world. However, there are a lot of relationships that are not like that. The power in the relationship lies with the party who cares less. Let's say that, let's say you have been dating your girlfriend for 5 years. In the beginning, everything's great. But over time, things slowly take a turn for the worse. The give and take balance shifts in her favor. You are giving much more than you're getting. She begins to start fights over minor things. Maybe you tell her she looks good and she gets angry because you didn't tell her that she looks great. Stuff like that. She begins to take things away from you. Sex, out of the question. You're not getting any from her, and she's probably giving it to some other dude. She embarrasses you publicly in front of your friends. She verbally berates you. She disrespects you. It's bad. This relationship sucks for you. How long would you stay in a relationship like that? If you're a beta male, you probably get on your knees and ask that broad to marry you. But if you still have control of your balls, you get the hell out of that relationship as soon as possible. This is an example of the United States relationship with China being the overbearing, powerful female in the relationship, and the United States being the beta male. What makes things worse? All of the beta male's friends are bowing their knees to the abusive woman, otherwise known as China. I saw headlines yesterday that the WWE was pissed off with John Cena's pathetic apology to China. There were reports that he has heat in the locker room and with management in WWE, that the company was disappointed in him. When I saw the headlines, I was pleasantly surprised. I was thinking, this is great. We finally have a major corporation that is not afraid of the Chinese government. Finally, we have an entertainment entity that's going to take a public stand against China. Boy, was I wrong. I was wrong. It's true that WWE is disappointed and angry with John Cena apologizing to China, but not for the reasons that you think or that I thought. No, 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 no. WWE is angry with John Cena because he didn't allow them to issue the apology for him. They had no control over the situation. It was outside pressure, or in this case, the movie studio, that likely forced John Cena to apologize. And the WWE is pissed off that they weren't allowed to do it themselves. Are you kidding me? I know Vince McMahon is notorious for controlling every aspect of his company. But to say that I was disappointed when I heard their reasoning for being upset with John Cena would be an understatement. I don't understand these companies in America. I don't understand the WWE or the NBA. I don't understand why they are so quick to bow the knee to China. According to a recent poll by Pew Research, 89% of American adults consider China to be an enemy, or at minimum, a competitor, instead of a partner. You can't get 89% of Americans to agree on anything except China. 70% of Americans believe the United States should be doing more to promote human rights in China, even if it impacts economic interest. That's important. Yet, it seems like American corporations, sports leagues, entertainment companies, they believe the opposite. They feel like it's better business to essentially turn their backs on the American public and fully embrace China, which makes no sense to me. You have nearly 90% of the country thinking China's the enemy, while Hollywood and the NBA are bending their knees, asking for China's hand in marriage. All the while, the Chinese government completely abuses them every chance they get. Remember when Daryl Morey, former Rockets general manager, tweeted his support for Hong Kong back when the people of Hong Kong were protesting for their freedom? You remember that? The NBA turned its back on Daryl Morey. LeBron James, he basically called him irresponsible. We have to be mindful of the Chinese. We can't offend China. They're too important to our bottom line. The damn NBA went on an apology tour to China. Please don't be mad. We're in a relationship. We're lovers. I can't live without you. How did China react to the public apology from the NBA? They kicked them out of the country. They canceled events. They banned the NBA from airing on television in China for a year. Like I said earlier, China is the powerful female in the relationship, and the NBA is the beta male, primed to take the abuse. LeBron James takes pride in taking a stand against the perceived human rights violations here in the United States. Every time an African American is shot by police, LeBron is front and center, leading the charge against the cops, even if the shooting was justified, which in most cases it is. LeBron James, the NBA, John Cena, they are bowing their knee to China for one reason and one reason only. And you know what it is. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. It's money. Just like the beta male in the relationship with the abusive broad, he stays in that relationship because he believes that he can't find a better woman, that this woman is the best that he can get. The NBA, Hollywood, they believe China is the best that they can get economically. Hollywood feels that way because the American public has turned their back on the Hollywood wokeness. China has actually surpassed the United States when it comes to people going to theaters to see movies. The NBA, their popularity in America has been in decline for years, while their popularity in China, surging. Instead of the NBA doing what they can to improve their relationship with the American audience, they say to hell with you, we'll commit to China instead. Let me explain why it's so important for the NBA, John Cena, LeBron James, all of these major companies and sports leagues are public figures. Let me explain why it is so important for them to take a stand against the Chinese government instead of bowing down to them. American pop culture has major influence around the world. Even in countries where the United States government is hated or is not popular, pop culture figures in America still have major influence. Leagues like the NBA, they can have a positive influence around the world in places like China. Or they can use their influence negatively, which is what they're doing. LeBron James and the NBA are all about social justice here in the United States. But when it comes to promoting social justice in China, they're silent. God forbid we offend the CCP. We can't do that. Not only do they walk on eggshells, doing their best not to offend China, they issue apologies when the Chinese government fakes being offended. I mean, seriously, do you really think the Chinese government really gives a damn that John Cena called Taiwan a country? You really think they thought that was a big deal? They're probably laughing at the fact that he apologized for it. All the while, they are murdering people every day in these concentration camps. Oh, I apologize. No, I apologize. The Chinese, they don't like to call them concentration camps. They're re-education camps. We got to get that right. Beijing is scheduled to host the 2022 Winter Olympics. The United States, along with the rest of the world, they are faced with a decision. Do you travel to Beijing and essentially endorse the CCP and their human rights violations? Oh, I forgot to mention the fact China is directly responsible for the COVID spreading around the world too. So, do we participate in the Beijing Olympics or do we take a stand against the Chinese government? I think we all know the right answer to that question. And we also know the right decision is not likely to be made. LeBron James and the NBA have the power to affect change in a positive manner. Instead of constantly trying to change America, where they enjoy freedom not experienced anywhere else in the world, they should be trying to change China. But they won't. They won't do it. Because it doesn't make sense financially, which is a very capitalistic mindset when you think about it. America was built on capitalism, but it's strange. LeBron James and the NBA, they preach social justice, otherwise known as redistribution of wealth or socialism. Once again, hypocrisy with the NBA. The NBA wants it both ways. They want capitalism when it comes to dealing with China, and they want social justice here at home. When you think about it, the NBA is the ultimate socialist league. The way that they are built, they are a socialist league. They have revenue sharing, which means the teams that make money are bankrolling the teams that are in the red, that are losing money every year. It gives absolutely no incentive for the teams not making money to improve. Believe it or not, pop culture icons in America used to have a backbone. They used to do the right thing. Back in the 1980s, famous music artists came together and they protested the South African government. Now, it didn't bring down the racist South African government. That alone didn't do it, but it did send a clear message. That message was, we're not going to take your blood money. Fast forward 30 plus years later, the NBA and Hollywood have blood-stained money lining their pockets. And they wonder why America has turned their backs on them. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. We didn't turn our back on Hollywood. We didn't turn our back on the NBA. They turned their backs on us. All right, time to let me know what you think. Tell me your thoughts on the WWE's reasoning for being disappointed or pissed off with John Cena and his apology to China. Do you agree that American pop culture figures have more influence around the world than the United States government? Sound off in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.